Hello, everybody. This is Joyce from BoQ Creations. Please bear with me for a moment while we get our second YouTube Live up and running. I'm so excited to be with you guys tonight. I am trying to set up my screen, and I hope that everything is going well for you. We are going to create such an awesome folder tonight. I'm so excited about that. So, let's see. I think I'm going to send a message to myself and find out where my messages are going, because I want to make sure that we are on the live. If you are here with me tonight, please give me a hello. Just want everybody to be able to see us tonight. View all. It says that I'm live, but I don't see where I am. Okay, that is not. It says that I'm live, so let's see what's going on. Okay, give me just 1 minute. Give me just a reason. Just a reason. I'm sure y'all don't want to hear me sing. Okay, let's hope that we are actually live, because I'm not sure. All right, let's see. I'm going to go to our YouTube channel. If we are live, guys, and you can hear me, please give me some sort of sign. Please give me a sign. I just need to know. I just need to know if we are actually broadcasting. YouTube Studio. Let's see, I hope everybody can see me. Let's see if I am live. Hey, am I live to you? I am good. Okay, I just want to make sure everybody can see and hear me. We're good? All good in the hood? You can see me waving at you? All right, honey, give me a message so I can see where it comes up on my screen, if you don't mind. We're just like making, I don't see it. I don't know why. I don't see where the messages are coming up. That's my concern, is that I can't see. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and go on with the broadcast so that yeah, so we can, there's the content. I don't even see the video, so let me just refresh. Sorry guys, I'm just making sure that we are on live, and I'm sure that we the comments will be here. Oh well, I don't even know how to work this, but we're gonna get through this together. We're gonna muddle along, and oh, here's more comments. Let's see. Are these comments from my post right now in my community? Okay, let's see. Let me see if I can. All right, for the live right now. I hear a ding. Okay. Let's see. Viewer posts. I'm sure that's what I need to. I don't know. I don't even know, you guys. I think I'm just gonna go. Oh, I see the folder Folio. Okay, I see that. All right, let's see if I can see the comments. Let's see. How do I see the comments, you guys? That's what I'm worried about. Anyway, we're just gonna go ahead. If anybody has any comments, it says live right now, so I want to posts. I don't know, maybe it's there. Who knows? I don't know. Well, we're just going to go ahead. Hi everybody, this is Joyce from BoQ Creations, and I am coming to you live on YouTube this evening. I am going to create a folder folio. That's what this is. I have to confess, I did not come up with that, with this folio. I one of my design team members, Leanne, came up with this, and I just feel like it's so beautiful to not be shared with everybody. I wanted to show everybody how it's made. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping that I can see some comments here in a minute. I don't know where everything is, but guess what? We're going to go live. We're going to go ahead and do it. And if you guys have any comments, we will get to that. I will see the comments later. I don't know quite where they are showing up. They just kind of came up last time, and I don't know where they came up at. But my phone is dinging, and I think I'll try to find them on my. Hi, Char. How are you? I see Charlene came on tonight. You guys, I really wish I could find where the comments are coming up, because I'd love to see all of you who are joining us tonight. I'm going to go to my account, and give me 1 second, because I really, really want to see what your comments are, and I'm not seeing. It says see comments on my dashboard. Now I can filter the comments, but I want to see what comments you guys are making on our video live, and I'm not seeing it. So rather than just sit here all night long trying to figure, you know what, Char? I need Gino to tell me how to view my comments is what I need. You know, like I need a kid to tell me how to do this. So okay, well, at least we're on, and we are going to get started tonight. This was made by one of my design team members, Leanne, and she made it out of a folder, like a manila folder. And of course, she used our beautiful Sweet Cottage Rose paper. And I absolutely love this folder folio, because it is so easy to make, and it's so easy to be able to create out of almost nothing. So that's what I really, really like about this. And I'm trying to see if there's a comment, content discretion. I really am trying very hard, you guys. I want to see the comments for this video. I think I'm just going to watch them on my phone. That way I can see who all is joining us. So sorry about that. We had it last time, but we figured it out, but now we have no idea where it is right now. So we'll figure that out before our next live. But I just want you guys to know that I'm so appreciative that you are here. I don't know if everybody can hear me all right. I have all the channel information from the last video, but I do not have it for this video. So let me see the folder folio. I think I have to click on it. All right. Okay, there's that. Now let me see if my comments, you guys, because I see the video. Maybe I have found it. Thank you so much for joining the conversation to interact with the creator. Open panel. Let me see. Join the chat. Ooh, I think I might have found it. Let me see. Theater mode, live. I see that I'm live. Okay, let's see if it has comments. It says 8 people are watching, and the stream started 9 minutes ago. So that's the information that I'm getting. So I hope you guys, let's see, it says join the live chat. Open panel. Okay, well, anyway, I see that there are 9 of you on tonight. I'm so excited about that. Oh, there they are. I see it. Okay, Diana, hello. Ann Hassan. Sybil says you're here. I do see you and hear you. Hello, hello, hello. Yes, Bobby Sand says here we are. Oh my gosh, okay, I'm seeing you guys. Jennifer says hello. I'm so glad you're here, Jennifer, because I couldn't find it. So, all right, well, here we are. So, this folio tonight, I'm creating it because I wanted to show you guys, we carry these gorgeous slim lines that match our collection. You see that? This is the Victorian slimline. And for this folio, you cannot get any cuter of a project and use our slimline Victorian. This is the Victorian lace collection, but these slim lines are perfect for projects like this. They are good for cutting up to card panels. That way you don't have to do your 8.5 by 11, or I'm sorry, your 12 by 12 papers. You don't have to cut them up. These are our slim lines, and you can get them at BeauQCreations.com for $8.99. And that is super cool because it gives you a little sampling of every page in our collection. And that's what I'm going to make tonight. I'm going to replicate this. This is one of our design team members, Leanne Ricks, and she made this adorable little folio out of a manila folder, actually. Sybil says, you'll get it. I got it, Sybil. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. Okay, so now I can see everybody's comments. I can see the live. I can see what you see. All right, I'm so excited. All right, Shar is here. Yeah, I know, Shar. I need to get Gino to teach me how to use the YouTube, since he's the master of all YouTube purveyors. Okay. So we're going to use this tonight. We're going to use a plain, I have a black. We do carry these in the store. They're packs of 5. So if you ever need colored folders, you don't need, like if you always have the manila folders, but you need some in color, we carry black and yellow and a couple of other colors in the store. So you can check that out at BeauQCreations.com. But that's what we're going to create this gorgeous folio with tonight, and I'm going to give you the measurements and show you all of the extras that we have. And I'm going to be using the slimline, which, if you make slimline cards, these are great, but also they're great for smaller projects where you don't have to cut up your big 12 by 12 papers. So I love that. All right, so let's get started. All right, let's get started. Thank you, Sybil. I appreciate. Shar says, I'm here. LOL. Beautiful folio. Yes, Leanne did a great job. She is the master of turning things that are everyday objects into beautiful works of art. I love that about Leanne. So, all right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the measurements of this. The folder measures 11 inches or 11 and a half for... for the folder length. We're only going to need 8 1/4. So each panel is 3 inches roughly. You can change it, for whatever you desire. And we're going to be using the natural built-in fold that comes with the folder. So that is that's what makes this super cool. And then you still have this part and this part that you can use for other parts of the folio, and that's what we're going to look at tonight. So again, using the slim lines, and we're using the BeauQ Creations Victorian Lace Collection. We're going to be using a magnet, some other things, just to kind of dress it up. So here we go. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the folder down to 8 1/4. Now, obviously, you can make this smaller or larger depending on what you want to do. Listen, this is a totally, you can do whatever you want to do type of project, because you do not have to follow my guidelines. You can totally do this folder any way that you want to, or any length that you want to, because it's going to be your folder. So, your folio. So you make the measurements whatever you want. I just like to round it up to even numbers so that when I cut the rest of my slimline pieces, it's just easier. So I'm using the natural fold of the folder right here. So don't cut that off. And I'm measuring it 6 by 8 1/4. I'm cutting through both layers, meaning I did not open the folder. And then I'm just going to keep this all together. Oops, have y'all heard about our virtual crop that's coming up in January? Yes, you heard it. Our first virtual crop. I love it. Now, we're not getting rid of this right here just yet because we're going to be using these pieces later on in the folio. Okay? So, when you open it, it looks something like this. And you've got these markings, you've got the natural fold of the folder, and then we can round the top of our thing up here. So each panel measures 3 inches wide by 8 1/4, 3 inches wide by 8 1/4, 3 inches wide by 8 1/4, and then we're going to take this one and we're going to make a rounded edge for our opening. Okay? So I'm going to, let's see, I'm just going to move this. Now remember that I have these slim lines, okay? So if each panel measures 3 by 8 1/4, our panels measure 3 3/4. So you're only going to have to cut it down by like 1/2 inch or something. So that's what's great about these panels, because you get the length and you get a small spattering of each one of them. And I love that. I love that it gives you, that our slim lines give you such an ability to create using the package, you know, using the collection, and you can absolutely use these. So, all right, let's get our scoreboard, because we do need that this evening. Okay, so I have my scoreboard here, and the reason that I need my scoreboard is because we have to score these lines at 3. Okay, now remember, there's a natural fold at 6, so we have to score it at 3, then we have a fold at 6, and then we have to score it at 9 in order for the folder to be able to open and close. So I'm just going to take and score this right there, and it takes a second, because, you know, guess what? This is a folder you're scoring, okay? So 6 is the natural fold, so you don't have to worry about that one. And then 9 is our last fold, okay? Our last, there we go. So easy. So now all we need to do is just score it. We've scored it, and now we need to burnish it. Just like that, look. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I'm using 3 by 8 1/4, but that does not mean that you can't make it thinner or thicker, depending on what you want. I know, didn't she do a great job, Anne? I love it. I love it. Okay. So what are all you guys doing tonight? What's the weather like? Where are you from? Tell everybody where you're joining us from out here in YouTube land. Okay, so there is one panel, there's our second panel, and now we're going to fold our third panel over just like that, and make sure that our panel, easy peasy, that's it, you guys. That is all there is to the structure of this folio. We're using the natural fold from the folder, we're scoring it at 3, the natural fold is at 6, and then at 9. That's it. That's all we've done. It is so easy. And then we just fold said folio over and burnish it. Now comes the fun part. Since we did not have to spend all of that time creating the structure, we can now get fun cutting it open. Cutting it and doing what we need to do with the folio. So I'm just going to create a rounded edge, and I just put a line here in the middle, and then I created an arc from that side to the edge, and then I did the same thing. That way I can, thank you, Sybil. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button, because that's how you're going to get our YouTube subscriptions. I want to make sure that you guys are able to follow us and that you get notifications when we post a video or we do a live. That way you guys can join us. Hi, Joanne. How's Bruce doing, hun? All right. So then we've got this great little folio. Look at that. Look how easy that was. Was that difficult? I don't think so. Look at that. Okay, so now we're going to use the slim lines. This piece right here happens to be my favorite panel in the whole collection. So I'm going to use that for my front cover. Now let me show you what I'm going to do. This is how I get this perfectly round edge to match, okay? What I do is I flip my paper over, okay? I put my folio up to the edge, up to the, the fold here. I fold over this and I take my pencil and I just draw the outline of my arc. That's how I know to get it perfectly aligned. There we go. See that? Now I have the perfect round for my folio. So when I flip this over, it's going to match perfectly with my arc that I have here. Good. I was really concerned, so I'm glad to hear he's doing well. Good. You tell him we all said hello. So then I'm just going to take my scissors and fussy cut right along the edge of this arc that I created so that I can have a rounded top. There we go. This is my favorite piece right here with the lace on it, so it's going to go beautifully with the embellishments that I got. No need to cut anything, no need to, and I'm going to keep this piece because guess what? If this is the arc, doesn't it make sense that that will be the piece that we use for the pocket that goes in here? So save this piece. That's important. All right. So now, what if I put it exactly like that, then it would match my arc perfect. But I want to cut it down a little bit. I want it to mat beautifully with my paper here, with my my thing. So I'm going to just put it down a little bit. And doesn't it make sense that it's easier to cut a straight line than a rounded one? So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create your outline and then cut off of the bottom here, even though it's a little bit, you know, it's a little bit extra work, but it's worth it. I'm not going to glue anything down just yet because I want to make sure that all of my pieces look good on here. There we go. I'm just going to cut that straight because guess what? There we go. Now I have a little bit of a matte layer around it. This black folder goes beautifully with our Victorian lace collection. I love this collection. It's very vintage. It kind of makes you feel like it has been hanging around in your grandma's attic for a while. So there we go. Look at that. So now if I didn't take off enough, that's all right. I'll just look. Okay. So let's see. I'm trying to accomplish a beautiful matte layer like that. So there I go. I'm seeing that I'm still a little bit off. Here's my fold right here. So I just need to match this edge with this. It's kind of crooked, but that's all right. I did that. So I'm just going to cut this off. I don't have the best light in here today, and it's dark outside where I am. Okay, so I'm going to use my guide wire to create, see? Now I've got that edge. Look how beautiful that is. Ta-da! How beautiful. Already distressed and no need to do anything else. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Now I know that these panels are 3 by 8 1/4. So I can take my vintage, I can take my Victorian lace. There's another pretty one that I like. This one's really nice. These are our slim lines, guys. I know a lot of people didn't pick up on the slim lines at first, but I think they're worth their weight in gold because it's totally usable. So I'm going to cut 8 1/4 first. Actually, I'm going to cut 8 because I want 1/4 of an inch mat around it. So I'm going to cut it at 8, and then I'm going to cut it at 2 3/4 because that's going to give me that perfect matte. I like that pink flower on that side, so I think I'm going to turn this around. So 3 3/4. Yes, 3 3/4. That's exactly how wide it is already, so we don't have to do anything to our, oh yes I do. I have to do 2 3/4. Sorry guys. 2 3/4. I knew I had to cut a little bit off of that edge, so let's see. Here we go. 2 3/4 by 8. I'm going to save this strip again because all of this is going to be used. So how neat is that? I'm going to pull this chair over here so I have an extra hand to hold stuff. Okay, so far we've got our top piece here. We've got our piece for this side. And remember, if it's 8 inches long, it's going to fit. So it's going to be 2 3/4 by 8 to mat your pieces. So I'm going to get like maybe that piece for that one. And I really like this piece with the flower on it. I might put this one right here. Doesn't matter. I mean, they're all going to be 8 inches long. So we're just going to go ahead and cut those down. Diana says I'm from Whoville. Diana, you're so goofy. Those of you that don't know, Diana Noggle is on our design team, as well as Jennifer Williams. I'm trying to see who else is joining us tonight. So 2 3/4. Again, save that strip. We don't want to cut that off, and it's 8 inches. 8 inches. Save all your scraps. You never know when you're going to need them, guys. Only the smallest little piece gets thrown away here. Okay, so 2 3/4 by 8. I hate cutting that lace off the bottom, so I think I'm going to cut it off of here so we don't lose a whole bunch. Okay, so there's our panels. We have a couple more we're going to cut down because we need to do the inside. So I'm just going to pick another slim line. This one, these will do. Okay, these will do. So we're going to cut them down 2 3/4. Here's the fun part about all of this. I love using my, oh, I just cut that 2 1/4. Oopsie. See, when you don't pay attention and you're talking and trying to do 10 things at once, sometimes you just don't do it right. 2 3/4. There we go, by 8. And I think I'm gonna cut, I don't wanna cut that flower because this folio is just too beautiful. And I love, these make great gifts for people, stocking stuffers, you know, because they can go in your purse. There's a notepad inside of it that you can just grab some of your note paper. So there we go. All right. So there we have our piece for that one, our piece for that one, and our piece for this one. Isn't that gorgeous, guys? Isn't that beautiful? So we're not going to glue anything down just yet because we have an inside piece that we need to make. And in that inside, we are going to put a magnet on the inside before we start doing anything. Remember I told you, so I'm just going to collect these because these are going to be our outside pieces. Okay. And now we have to do the inside. So I'm just going to collect these and set them off to the side. And then I'm going to turn it over. This is going to be what we consider the inside. And remember that piece that I told you that would make a gorgeous pocket? Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So now all I have to do is just cut this off right here with my trimmer at 8 inches, and I've already got the rounded piece, see, because this is the one that we cut this out of. Look at that. This is the piece that we cut this out of, and then now that makes the perfect little pocket for right there. Like I told you guys, Leanne just did a fantastic job with this. I'm so in love. Okay, so then we've got this piece right here. We've got another piece that we have cut for this panel, and then a last piece for that panel. Look at that. Do you see how beautiful and easy that is? And if you want to put another piece right here, you absolutely can take one of the matching pieces and you can stick it behind there if you want. Like I kind of like this one a little bit. But you know what? I sort of like that black. I think I'm just going to leave it. Sometimes you have to do less is more, right? Okay, so these are our inside pieces. And now I have to cut that same shape for this panel. So I'm just going to repeat that same process. I'm going to grab myself another piece of the Victorian lace, and I am going to just cut that right along that line that I've traced. Again, I just put it right up to the edge of the folio there. And then all I have to do, I'm going to cut it just inside the line. Well, you know what? I may cut it on the line and just do the same thing again. I will. There we go. And I am just going to cut right along that line. Again, guys, we don't have to be perfect about this because guess what? We're making this out of a manila folder. You know what I mean? So there we go. So I'm going to just pull this back and, but see, this is a mistake that I want to show you guys that even sometimes I make. Remember when I turned this paper over to make that matching edge? Well, I didn't turn this folio over. So if you turn this piece over, turn your folio over, because otherwise what ends up happening is it doesn't align correctly, right? So there we go. So, you know, even sometimes we make mistakes. So I'm going to use one of my pieces of scrap here. So you can either put it behind it and do the front piece, you know, so that it matches. But if you turn the folio over to trace it, you need to turn the paper over. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so I'm putting it up to the edge because you have to get a mirror image. That's the problem, okay? You have to have a mirror image. Since this is a piece of scrap that we had, I just feel confident that I can trace it and cut it, and it's going to be, hi Annie, welcome, welcome. I feel confident that the inside of my folio is going to match because look, I turned them both over. So yes, I feel confident that we have got it this time. So I'm going to cut it here. This little folio, I've had so many comments on how to create this folio that I thought, you know what, this is worthy of a YouTube live. So that is why we are doing this tonight, because we've had so many people ask about this. There we go. Now you can see that as I put it on there, it is now beautifully cut and it's perfect. This is the outside, so we're going to put it on the inside. See? See that? So now I have the perfect edge. It is not going to interfere with my fold because I have to cut this down just a little bit, because let me show you. I don't know if you guys can see that, but this is my fold right here. Okay? So I want to make sure that it's easier to cut off of the straight line than it is off of the curved line. So I'm just going to cut like 1/8 of an inch off of that. Oh, Linda, I'm so sorry, but I'm glad you're here. So glad you're here. Yeah, we're going to, so from what I understand, you guys, just FYI, from what I understand is if you like and are subscribed to our video, our channel here on YouTube, you will get notifications when we go live. So, you know, just make sure that you are subscribed, and that way you will get the notifications when we go live, because we don't want anybody waiting in the wrong place for us, right? Okay, so here's my inside piece. The reason why we're not putting this down just yet is because we have to put magnets on it. So I want to put some magnets on it before we do anything, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. We have all of our pieces here for the inside. We've already cut. And so Linda, just to catch you up, we did a 3 by 8 1/4 folio. This is the fold of a folder, you know, a natural black manila folder, and we cut it at, here's our fold, so we cut it at 3, or I'm sorry, scored it at 3, the natural fold is at 6, and then we cut it at 9 again, I'm sorry, scored it at 9, and that left us with a 3 by 8 1/4 inch panel that we're doing. Hi Maddie, how are you? So we have put paper from the back side, and now we're doing the inside. So as we get ready to put these down, I want to get our magnets in first, because we want to make sure that when this folio closes like this, that our magnet is here and also here. Okay, so we have to make sure that we have our magnets so it will fold and lock into place. So I always like to close it back up, just so that I can make sure that I have my correct positioning. Now we do sell these magnets in the store. They are super, super thin, as you can see, and I usually put one here and one here. And I'm going to show you how to do this. This is so easy, you guys. So you get your double-sided tape, and I just use my double-sided tape, and I'm going to put this magnet right here. Okay, I'm just going to tape it down, and then I'm going to take a piece of paper and I'm going to put it in between this magnet and this magnet. That just makes sure that when I close this, that the magnet will be in the right place. Okay, and then this piece of paper ensures that they're not stuck together and I can't get it apart, you know what I mean? So I take a little piece of tape like so. Okay, and I go ahead and peel it off. I try not to get it stuck to the paper. I know there's probably 10 easier ways that you can do this, but you know, this is what always works for me. It always gets in the right place every time, and I don't have to worry about it sticking to anything that it's not supposed to. So I just peel off the tape, I fold it up onto the magnet like that. Okay, now remember, it is magnetized to the magnet underneath. That's what's keeping it in place. Then I fold it over and I press it down, and now I'm assured that my magnet will snap like it's supposed to. You could use Velcro, you could use the magnet, you could just not have anything if you don't want to. If you don't want it to have a closure like that, you certainly don't have to. You can use our paper snaps if you want to. Those work as well. So that's kind of fun. And I'm just to make sure that this stays down, I'm going to go ahead and put a piece of tape right there. It's going to be hidden underneath my paper, so I don't have to worry about it. Now my folio has a magnet that I can open and close the folio, just like that. And as I move through the process of building this, I know that I don't have to worry about, oops, I forgot to put my magnet on, you know. So we've got the outside and the inside. I'm not going to bore you with putting the paper on the outside because we want to get to the meat and potatoes on the inside, right? Okay, so here was our piece of paper that we had for our cutout, and this is what Leanne built in for the pocket. So this makes it kind of cool. I'm just going to do like that, and then boom, there is my little pocket that I can put papers in, whatever, and I'm only going to put glue right around the edge of this so I have room to put stuff in there. Okay, so the next piece has a piece of paper that we have cut out to go here. So that's cool. So that's going to hide your magnet. And then we have this one over here. Okay, I'm not going to put anything on this panel just yet because I want to show you about the little insert that Leanne has made. And we made this, she made this out of the piece that we had left over. Remember, I told you we had some folder left over. So let's go ahead and get these glued down, and we can absolutely put these pieces on. I think I want to distress it with some vintage photo. You guys okay with that? Why not? Let's get some vintage photo. Are we having fun yet? Okay, this is our very second YouTube Live. I'm so excited about that. I'm just going to put a little bit of vintage photo on here just because I don't like white edges, and I think this Victorian lace paper deserves a little bit of oomph from the vintage photo. Look at that. Look how beautiful that makes that lace. I mean, this paper just screams vintage. I love this. There's that piece. All right. Beautiful. Just distressing this. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Now remember, this is going to go on here. So because I have my tape down already, I'm just going to lift that because that tape is also going to help to put this in place. And I have my Barely Art glue that I am just going to put a little bit of glue on here. Make sure I get the edge. There we go. And then I can glue this right down to my folio. And my magnet is nice and hidden right underneath there. Isn't that cool? So my magnet is hidden. Now I'm going to put just ever so little bit of glue along the edge because I don't want to take away any space from my pocket. I'm literally putting the smallest bead of glue down, and I'm only doing it on 3 edges. See that? Because this is going to be our little pocket on this page. There we go. Slide that down, and we want to bleed that out from underneath there so it doesn't smooch into our pocket and cause our papers to stick inside of there. Okay, so now we have this cute little pocket in here that we can put some of the papers. It matches, like, look at that, it goes over. We've got our magnet hidden, and then we can put this one on as well. Have you guys ever made something like this? These are so much fun. I love to give them to people in my life that, you know, maybe throw it in their purse or put their coupons in it or have a little list to go to the grocery store. I love this. Okay, now this piece right here, we're going to do 2 things. From the folder that we had left, as soon as I find it. So this is how the folder normally is. So you see we still have a piece right here that has a natural fold. Well, that's what we're going to use for the top of our piece right here. On top of this is a little notepad that we put some papers in, and so there we go. We're just going to measure that because I do not know how big that is, but we're going to use that natural fold there. So let me grab my ruler so I can tell you guys. It looks like it's about 2 1/4. Like 2 1/4. So we're going to grab our trimmer. We're going to use that natural fold, and we're going to cut this, yeah, right at 2 1/4. Why not? There we go. Look at that. We still have so much more folder left that we can use. So 2 1/4, this measures 2 1/4 by, looks like 7 1/4. Yeah, 7 1/4. So we're going to put that fold in there, and then we're going to cut this to 7 1/4. Make sure you do not cut the fold, guys, because then you'll be like losing your whole little paper thing. Okay, so this is 2 1/4 by 7 1/4. And it opens, here is the fold. So you can see that this is going to open up and make a cute little notepad. And that's what's going to go inside of that middle pocket. How cool is that? And we get to use some of the paper strips that we had left over here to create that panel. See that? So now we've got these pieces over here that we used, and that's what we're going to embellish and make for our little notepad here. And then so this one's going to be 2 inches by 7, so that way we can fit it in here. So we're just taking a 1/4 inch off. You like the black folders? I know, it's so easy because then you end up not having to distress anything, right? Okay, so we're going to leave that right there, but we still have to create the piece that allows us to put that in the pocket. We have to create that right there. And so that piece measures 7 inches by 3. So 7 inches by 3. So that's probably going to be, for us, because this panel is 3 inches, so it's going to be 7 inches by 2 3/4. So we're going to grab another one of our slim lines. Okay. So this is going to be 7 inches by 2 3/4. Okay, so this panel right here. So that way we can cut that down. Y'all, I am awful with math. You did subscribe, but no reminder. We'll get it together, Verna, I promise. Okay, so we said 2 3/4. There we go, 2 3/4. I think I'm not going to cut that music off. I like that music on that side. So that's what this touch of black is on the paper. You know, it is the little bit of black that you need to create that illusion. Okay, now, you guys, look at that. I messed it up again. It's a good thing I have a ton of slim lines. Okay, so my measurement should be 2 3/4. Should be 2 3/4. Yes, that's what I did, I thought. By 7. Okay, let's try again. I might have done 2 1/2. So we know the panel is 3 inches. See, everybody, 1, 2, 3. Yep, it's 3 inches. So we need to do 2 3/4. I swear I did that. No, I did it again. I did 2 1/4. All right, 2 3/4, you guys. 2 3/4 by 7. All right, let's see what this piece looks like so we don't cut off any of our... Okay, so remember that these are 11 inches long, so you want to make sure that you save the piece from cutting this one. So there's your 7 inches, and we're going to save this piece because we're going to need it in just a minute, okay? So there is our panel that our little tablet is going to fit in, and then we need to have a piece up here. All right, so we're going to take that same little piece, and we are... Hi Liz, how are you? Did you recover? So this is going to be 3/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch wide, and you'll see in a moment what we're going to do with this strip. Okay, so this strip is going to go right up here, and that's going to finish off our piece. Now, we need to distress this because everything is distressed in our book, and I'm using the Vintage Photo. Of course, we carry all these supplies at the store. So if you need a Vintage Photo, if you need the Victorian lace, the glue that we're using, whatever, you just go to BoQCreations.com and place your order, and we will ship that out to you ASAP. One lucky viewer tonight is going to win this folio. So how about that, you guys? Isn't that amazing? Okay, so then this will go on here, and then this strip will cover this. And this is going to get glued down, but this is going to be just like the pocket that we just did a moment ago, okay? So, just barely the smallest edge of glue right along the edge. You don't want this seeping in, because remember, you got to slide this piece down inside. Do not put it at the top, guys, because then you're going to glue the panel down, and you're not going to be able to use that as a pocket, okay? So we're going to leave that top open, and we're going to glue this down just like that. I'll wipe off that glue because it dries clear. We don't have to worry about it. Okay, and this piece can get glued down. I'm going to erase that just in case we don't want to see that on our folder. Okay. Okay, so this is what's going to complete the top piece right there. You see that? Now, this is going to be an open pocket to slide the top of our little folio that we have right here down inside after we make it into a notepad. So I love this, that we can, you know, create this little notepad folio, and then we can slide that down inside of there. Okay, yes, there we go. Just cut that little strip off, and we cut this strip off, and we are good to go. Did you see that? I moved that and it kind of jiggled, and then I cut the wrong piece off. Okay, there we go. And now look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that pretty? And so now this is going to, we're going to make a little notebook that goes in there, and we are going to slide this down inside of here. Yeah, I promise we are. So we're gonna give that a minute to dry, and then I'm gonna slide that down inside of there just like that. And now this becomes our, yeah, that becomes our folio that we're sliding down in there, and it becomes our notepad. Isn't that cool? So you can totally put a notepad in there. I think I'm probably going to make this just a little bit smaller, because as you can see, it is definitely inhibiting the ability of this. So I might just cut it down a little bit. You know, like, that's what you can do, guys. That's totally up to you. It does not matter, because this folio, there is no specific guidelines. You know, you do what you want to do with it. And if you need to cut it down just a little bit more because it's catching, then you know what? Cut it down a little bit more. That's why we do things first, to try them out before we, you know, start cutting everything down, right? So that is why we do that. Dry fit, dry fit, dry fit is always my motto, because I'd rather dry fit it and have it not fit while it's dry fit than to go ahead and fix it, and then, you know, you can't get it back, you can't fix it. So this is going to be our little folio that's going to go inside of here. So isn't that amazing? All right, now we got one more piece we're going to put on here, and that is this strip that we saved like this. And I kind of like that lace right there. I don't know, maybe I'll put it down at the bottom. This is the piece that we saved, another scrap. This is what I love about Leanne's work. Leanne finds the best use for all of these things that are left over. I love that she does that. I'm going to cut that off, and then we are going to glue it here, and that's going to become a little tuck that you can put some more paper on. So we're going to distress that. There we go. And we're going to distress this. This is going to be sort of a pseudo belly band that we could slide our coupons or an advertisement or a little Post-it note that we need to follow up on, or, you know, whatever. Just put a little bit of glue at the top and a little bit on the bottom, and that is going to glue right over top of this paper right here. Isn't that cool? Look at that. I love that. Now we have the ability to slide, you know, little, oops, let's get it dry first. Slide little things under there, and, you know, you can have like a little piece of paper that's in there, or a little notepad, or something of that nature. Put a picture. See how it just kind of fits under there? I think that is so super cool. So that is the inside of our folio. Let's flip it over. And don't forget, we put our magnet on this side, and we also have these pieces that we did earlier that are right here. See that? So all we're going to do is distress these guys. And then I brought my hot glue gun out, and we are going to make a beautiful outside edge for this, because, you know, everything is gorgeous. We got to... Uh-oh. It fell all the way down under there, guys. Hold on a minute. That was my distressing tool. It just went blink all the way down to the bottom. Look at that. How beautiful is that? Now, you could make a belly band or a pocket or something on the outside edge of that. I'm just going to scooch this for just a second, guys, because I need my distress tool that fell all the way down there behind my cart. Isn't that funny? Does stuff like that ever happen to you guys where, you know, something you need falls behind your desk and you can never ever find it again? All right. I wish that I could say, hold on, I'll go get another one, but this is my favorite one, and that is... Listen, anything live can and will happen, right? That is the nature of being live. is stuff like this happening, right? Okay, so we have, I got it, see? I got it. All right, we have our pieces over here on the outside. We're gonna throw a little bit of ink on that. I love it. The most important thing, I guess, about this particular project is that first of all, you guys know that you have all of those ugly manila folders that may have been used, or the tab is already done, you know, stuff like that, and you're just going to throw them away. That's what you were going to do with them. So think about how many Christmas gifts. Yeah, Shar says the black hole. Isn't that right, Shar? Like, that is just the total, that happens to me when you're on live, it goes into the black hole and it never comes back out. I remember that when we were on live during 2020, things would go into that black hole and we could never find them again. And they'd be sitting right there on the desk. It'd be like 10 seconds. I just had it in my hand like 10 seconds ago, and it would just go into the black hole. But if you think about all of those file folders and stuff that you might be throwing away because they're already used, or, you know, maybe you've already put that that paper, you know, the tab's already been used or whatever. Hi, Teresa. And, you know, you can just go ahead and cover it with your favorite paper. I mean, these happen to be our slim lines, and they fit perfect for this project. I've barely had to cut down hardly any of my papers because they're already slimline, so they're perfectly, oops, let's get these distressed. They're perfectly good. They're 3 3/4 wide by 11 inches, and you can cut them in half and make A2 cards from them. You can do slimline cards with them, and we have them with the Sweet Cottage Rose collection as well as the Victorian Lace collection. And this paper is BoQ Creations' own creation, so you can rest assured that this is a unique paper that no one else will be making these folios out of unless they shop at BoQ Creations too. So look at that. Look how gorgeous. So now we have a pocket, a notepad, a belly band. We can fold it up, and guess what? There's a magnet. Look how beautiful that folio is, you guys. Isn't that adorable? I just love it. I still have all of these scraps over here that I can use. I have turned on my hot glue gun because I want to put a band of lace around my opening here. And I have these really pretty, I've got my hot glue gun already warmed up so that you guys do not have to wait for me to do that. Now, I'm going to get to this notepad in just a minute, but I figure while this is drying, you know, I'm going to stick one of our pieces of paper down inside of here just to make sure that that glue does not set, because you can see that this is, I should have used that tip of my glue without using my big bottle, because, you know, we don't want that to stick to our notepad. See that? So we want to make sure that that's going in and out of the pocket as it should. So we're just going to leave that right there. And then I'm going to take this. Love this lace right here. I can put a flower here. I can put an embellishment. I can put a rosette, whatever I would like. Yes, Shar, got your add to cart, honey. Thank you, thank you. Okay, now in our store here, we have this gorgeous border trim. I love this. We have it in white, beige, and black. And all you do is you just take your glue gun and just put some across the center. I think that is just, like, it's gorgeous. I just love that. Love this lace. It is so, so pretty. I always go a little bit farther out of the edge because this lace does kind of, it wants to untwine. And usually what I do is put a piece of washi or Scotch tape at the end, and that helps it not to fray. But how beautiful is that? And since I'm not gonna, I don't know that I'm going to put it, I think I'm going to put it right up here at the top. I really like that, and I think a nice embellishment right here would be beautiful. There we go. So let me show you how I do this. Okay, so here is my folio, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put a little dot of glue right here just to hold it in place. Okay, I'm using a little bit of hot glue, and I'm going to put that right there just to hold it in place. Okay, there we go. Now, I take and flip my lace over. And you know how when you do your whole lace, sometimes with your glue gun, it gets cold? So what I do is I do a little bit right along the edge. And the only reason why I'm using hot glue instead of like my Beacon 3-in-1s that I love so much is simply because I don't want to wait for it to dry tonight. I want this to be completely finished so that I can give it away this evening and put it in the mail to our lucky winner. So I'm just going to use hot glue to make sure that that is down beautifully. It's wedding-y. Oh, it's a wedding. Oh, it's, you had a wedding. I thought you meant the lace was wedding-y. Yeah, I just realized what you said. That's funny. Okay. There. Now I can finish up installing my lace. Okay. And also, I think I might put some sort of embellishment right there. I have these beautiful little doilies. Let me show you how little these paper doilies are. I love these. Look at how beautiful these little doilies are. Isn't that cute? And I'm thinking if I fold it over in half, like so, right? I can put this little doily right here. And then I've got this really pretty beaded pearls, or I could use some of these gems that I have right here to kind of go right along this edge to finish this off. Isn't that gorgeous, you guys? Who would not love to get something like this for a present, right? Who would not love that? I know I would love it. So I'm going to put just a little bit of glue right here to glue this together. There we go. And I need a little bit in here as well. There we go. So I want that to stay together so that I don't, so it doesn't, you know, because these doilies are very thin. And so I'm just taking that, and I am, now my fingers are all stuck together. I might distress this as well. Just because we distressed everything else, I think I might just give it a little zhuzh. All right, now I'm going to push this all the way up to the edge of our thing here. And I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue on here so that it stays in place. Look at that, you guys. Look how beautiful that is. Now I'm going to put a flower on there for sure, but again, a little dot to anchor it, right? Because you don't want it to move. There we go. And it looks like I just have enough to go along that edge. I think that is absolutely insane, because that is what this thing needed, what this folio needed. And I'm just going to put a little bit of that hot glue right there along the edge. And remember, that way, okay, there we go. Okay, maybe I'll just apply it to here because these things are heat fix. So it is hot, and it is, there we go, sticking to the glue. There we go. Look how beautiful that is. One lucky person tonight is going to win this folio. How awesome is that? Because you know there's privileges to watching our second YouTube live ever. So glad you all are here. Look at how gorgeous that is. Oh my goodness. Can you guys see those sparkles there? Look how beautiful that is. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm going to open this up so that I can trim off my excess, just like that. Okay, now with this little piece right here that wants to come apart, if you take your glue and just kind of go in there and tap it like that, you don't even have to use no fray. It'll work perfect. It'll come right, stay right like that, and no problem whatsoever. Okay, so I'm going to do that same thing here. Just going to cut that off with my super sharp scissors. And I'm going to keep that from fraying and coming off at the edge by just simply touching a little bit of glue to it and tapping it. And that will keep it from coming apart right there. Isn't that cool? I just think that that makes this so pretty. And then I have gorgeous flowers that go with this collection. So let me grab one. I don't know if I want to use these, or I don't know, maybe I'll have to make one. We have these gorgeous beige flowers. Yep, I think this is the one that we're going to be able to use. Look at that. It's kind of flat, so I'm gonna zhuzh it up a little bit. And look at that. If we put that right there, I don't like how thick that is. So I'm going to disassemble this, guys, because, you know, if it's not the way you want it, then take it apart and do it the way you want it. So here we go. So I want this to kind of be a little bit, I want to crinkle up this flower a little bit so that I can glue it right onto my folio here, right in the center. I'm going to push that down just like that. I'm going to bring up those edges a little bit because these are just paper, so it's not going to take up a whole lot of, you know, a whole lot of something. Let me put another glue stick in my gun. So I wonder who's going to win this tonight. You know? Diana Noggle, if you are on right now, would you do me a sweet favor, girlfriend, and text me a number, but don't tell anybody what number that is? Please, my friend. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. These are all threaded together. I'm going to trim those off, and I'm going to take a little bit of glue, and I'm going to stick that in the middle, and then I'm going to allow these to set in the middle, just like that, and just kind of go in that glue, just like that. I'm not going to try to make them stand up because guess what? I don't want them to stand up inside of my flower, because then it gets too gaudy. You know, it gets too, too filled. Okay, look at that. Look at how gorgeous, you guys. I mean, seriously, who would not want one of these? I mean, if you win it and you don't want it, let us know. I'm sure somebody else will, but I think I would love to have this. And I'm just going to put a little bit more glue right on top of the flowers. And then I'm going to take some of this, I have a little bit of fiber right here that's just it's got a little bit of gold in it. I'm not sure if it's got a little bit of gold. Might be too much. But you see, every little piece, every little thing that you have is usable, you guys. Don't ever think that you have to throw stuff away. Look at that. And that just covers up our little, look at that. Thank you, Diana. How cute is that, you guys? I'm going to move my glue gun out of the way because I think I am done with that. Look at that. Isn't that sweet? Look at that. Oh my gosh. I just love this. So we have this gorgeous, look at that, folio. Look at that. Okay, so the last thing that we have to do, you know what I'm going to do? I am just going to trim the tiniest little bit off of here because it's not quite closing. It's catching right there on that edge. So because, we have a little tiny, little bit thicker paper, I'm just going to cut that littlest of a bit off of there so that way this closes without catching on the other one. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of glitter on that, I think. I don't know. But we're going to make this piece that goes inside. Okay, so easy, you guys. You are not going to believe how quick this goes together. So I have a piece of white paper here, just plain old white paper, and I'm going to actually fold it in half so that it'll fit in my trimmer. And I'm going to measure the little notebook. Okay, so remember we cut a little bit off of that notebook a few minutes ago because it was not sliding down in there. So we have 2 1/8. So I think if we cut this into, I don't know, let's see, 2 1/8, and I'm putting the fold down here at the bottom. So I'm going to cut this into, so it's 2 1/8. So let's go with 1 3/4 inches. I think that would be, yeah, that gives us a little bit of a cover. Okay, 1 3/4 inch. So we're just kind of cut a couple of strips into 1 3/4 inch strips with the 2 pieces of paper folded together. Okay, there we go. 1 3/4 inch, 1 3/4 inch. And this is just a sheet of copy paper. I'm just going to line these all up right on top of one another. You could use scraps. You could use whatever you want. I'm going to do 1 3/4 inch one more time. And then I've cut all of these strips that are going to become my notepad. Okay. And my first one, I did not measure correctly. All right, 1 3/4. You know what they say, that old adage, measure twice, cut once? No, I cut twice, measure none. and then fix it. I saw that on Facebook this morning. Okay, so this is how easy this is, guys. You're going to take this little notepad right here, and you are going to staple it into, so you see how the natural fold right here has the fold here, and then it has 3 other little strips right there, little folds. I'm going to staple that right into both of the pieces. I'm going to staple this whole thing. Let me grab my stapler. Sorry, I didn't grab the stapler. Okay. So now I have to determine which side's going to be my front. I think I'm going to put this piece as my front. Now remember, we stuck this in here, and it's not quite up to the fold. It's almost up to the fold, but not perfect, you know, up to the fold. Like it's not exactly in the fold, I guess I should say. And then I'm going to fold this over, and I'm going to take my stapler, and I'm just going to put a staple right on that first, just below that first score line. And just like that, because there's a natural fold there, you have this adorable little notepad. See that? And that's going to get covered up. So there we go. We're going to mark and cut our little piece here. And usually what I do is I cut it all off at the same time. Like I just put it back in there and then take my trimmer and cut it all across the straight line. Just like that. And then that way everything is straight across. And you have now created a little notepad that's going to go in your folio. Isn't that cute? All right. Now we're going to decorate this one, of course, because that's what's going to go inside. Now I have this gorgeous piece of music here. And I thought that since our paper is steeped with music, that you could either use a piece of this paper as the thing here, or you can use some scraps that you have. And I'm going to put this one on here, okay? And then I'm going to cut this piece just below that fold because I don't want that interfering with the fold. There we go. Cut this off. Look how easy this was. I know it's like, feels like we've been on for like 10 hours, but guess what? It really is very, very easy. You kind of get the process now, you know? Great way to use your scraps, great way to use different embellishments that you might have, and certainly to use up those old folders that you might have laying around with taxes in it from, 14 years ago or whatever. Just use those folders. Don't throw them out. There we go. There's our front cover. And I have this gorgeous piece of music that I'm just going to tear a little strip. Isn't this music beautiful? I love tearing strips of paper and adding them to this piece. And remember, some lucky person tonight is going to win this just for watching us. And Diana has, she has sent me a number. So if you would not mind, folks that are still watching, please put in a number between 1 and 100. This is for the live broadcast only. So if you are joining us live right now, please put in a number between 1 and 50. And I will choose a lucky person because the number has already been texted to me. I'm going to choose one lucky individual who we will ship this to in the mail just for watching and being with us tonight. How awesome is that? Now, when you put this down, you want to make sure that it is really, really glued because it's going to be sliding in and out of your folio, and you want to make sure. Oh, Teresa's like, I'm already in with 17, you guys. I'm doing 17. So we have this little tiny strip of paper, and we're going to put that right above there. I need to cut this off. There we are. We're just going to mark it there. All right, we got some numbers coming up. Yay! All right, everybody, you know me, and you know I love to give away prizes. So here we go. There we go. We got this little tiny strip that's going to come up here and cover our staple. Just like that. And maybe if we're lucky, which I think we are, we might have just enough of this gorgeous, let's see, we've got this piece, except I don't like the way that looks, so we're just going to put the diamonds, I think, across here like that. Yep, I think that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I am just going to take my hot glue gun while you guys are picking numbers, and I'm going to just run a bead of hot glue across this, and I'm going to take my rhinestones and I'm going to just put them down just like that. Gorgeous! All right, just like that. Hi, Connie. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. Hi to you, honey. Look at that. Look how pretty that is with that music on there. And now we're going to just move everything out of the way. Hopefully, 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 this will slide easily down into our pocket here. Okay. So again, this is a little notepad. See that? Just a little notepad. I'm actually going to cut a little bit more off of this paper here. There we go, just so that it fits nice and neat in that little booklet. Okay, and this is going to slide right down inside of that little pocket there. Look at that. Isn't that lovely, you guys? How cute! And then I think I'm gonna put a piece of paper under there. Maybe make a tag out of it. You know, maybe make a little tag that we can fit in there. And then, because here's a nice piece that we ended up not using. So let's just go ahead and make a gorgeous little tag out of that. And how we do that is just to cut that off. Cut the corners. There we go. I never get the corners correct. Do you guys? So what I do is I take the corner that I cut off of here and I turn it around like this. Sorry. Like this. Wait a minute, how did I do that? Okay, that came off of there, so if we want to do it there. So I just, there we go. That's going to give me my, angle so that it matches. Or if you have a punch, you know, you can do a punch. There we go. Now I've got my little tag, and that's going to go in there just like that. And I'll probably put a little strip of this music paper. So let's see, did anybody win tonight? I'm going to take a little strip of this music paper and just fold this over so that we can have stapled to the top of it, just like that. All right. In the little thing the tag goes. And what should we put here? What should we stick in there? Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. I guess some more paper. We could stick another couple of pieces of paper in there. We could fold something, or yeah, let's put another piece of paper in there. All right, here we go. So I'm going to just fold this white paper over. Okay, and I'm going to just cut it, I think. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut it just so that we can have a little something something in there. But think about all the different scrap paper that you guys have. Think about being able to make this out of, you know, just bits and pieces that you have in your craft room. I mean, you know, it could be absolutely something out of nothing, truly. All right, so I think it was 8 1/4, so we're going to cut it at 8. Oops, what are you doing? Oops, my little lock is on. Come on. There we go. Now it'll cut. Handy. Okay. And now we have, yep, I'm going to cut it off just a little bit more. Now we have this gorgeous little folio that has a magnet, that has this piece of paper that we can slide down in here. I want to make sure that I didn't glue my folio down. I did, so I need to cut some more off. See, this is why you have to be careful with that glue and make sure it's not too much. You know, you can always take your bone folder and just kind of go in here and loosen that pocket up, or your pinky. Just be careful you don't cut your finger. And there we go. And now that will slide in there. Okay, so we need to just, a lot of this is trial and error, guys. It's not a perfect science, because remember, you're trying to utilize some stuff that you might have in your craft room. So you know what? Don't get discouraged if it's not perfect, because you're going to make it that way. Look at that. Look how beautiful. So now we've got this great little gorgeous folio with a little tag. We've got a little notebook. We've got a little piece of paper with a pocket that you can put in there. And then it closes with a magnetic closure. Look at that. Isn't that lovely, you guys? I'm absolutely in love. What a great way to use the BoQ Creations slim lines that we have. The slim line pieces. This is the Victorian lace slim line. And making a great little folio out of a black file folder, you guys. That is what this was made out of, a black file folder. How beautiful is that? It's got a magnet. It's got a real pretty flower on it. We got some gorgeous lace. It's all distressed. So let's see who is going to win this project tonight. Okay, let's see. The number that Diana gave me. Diana, would you please tell them what number this is? What was the number that you picked? The person closest to, without going over, wins this folio, and we will make sure that we ship it to you. So Diana Noggle, would you please put the number in that you chose? And we will see who is winning this beautiful folio. Diana, are you still with me? Are you still with me, Diana? The number was that she texted me closest to without going over. Thank you all so much for watching us tonight. We got your orders if you added to cart. And let's see, we have some more comments. So let me make sure that we have everybody's number in. Diana Noggle said the number was 34. Correct. So the person closest to, without going over, please, 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 would you identify yourself? That person looks like, yes, Diana confirmed the number was 34. I promise you we're not cheating. Okay, so the number was 34. Correct, 34. It looks like Joanne Adams. If I am incorrect, please let me know. Looks like Joanne. I know, Sybil. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you all for, I know Sybil was like, I was this close. So congratulations, Joanne. Ding. I wish I had like a little button that I could push and it made, you know, a happy sound. Congratulations, Joanne. This is going to go to you. I know you will love it. You have been oogling the one in the store every time you come in. So I am so happy that you have won the folio. So thank you so much for watching us tonight, everybody. This is BoQ Creations, www.boqcreations.com. And if you have not checked out our newest line of paper. We have the Christmas fun fronts. Congratulations, Joanne! Yay! We have the Christmas fun fronts out, as well as our new lemon paper, and we are having our virtual retreat in January. You want to sign up for that, because if you don't, you might just miss out on the free. The first 15 people are going to be free. Not the first 15 people. The first 15 people to sign up are going to get a $45 value for free in their package. So our virtual crop is going to be January 24th and 25th. You're welcome, Diana. Thank you so much for picking the number. So there you go. Joanne, congratulations. Yay! All right, guys, I think that's going to be it for me this evening. Don't forget that these slimline, the slimline parts that match these are so good with cards and being able to make all kinds of things with it without having to cut up any of your precious 12 by 12 papers. So don't overlook the slim lines, guys. There are lots of things you can do with slim lines that don't have to include a slimline card. So Joanne, congratulations. We will send this to you, and I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Have a great night, guys. Bye.